welcome into the PHNX Suns pregame show, brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you know whenever we are live. I'm Lindsey Smith here with Saul Bookman and Espo. Gentlemen, Game 4. We're going to get you guys ready for Suns Pelicans Game 4. The Suns took Game 3, 114 to 111 Friday night, making it a 2-1 series lead. How you feeling headed into this one?
I'm sorry, guys. We have completely downgraded from Alan Williams to myself. I apologize to everybody out there because I am back, and but I'm ready to go. I think the Suns are going to pull this one off. It's going to be a big-time win. They should smack those dirty Pels.
I'm just glad you said it before I did.
Because I knew you were going to say it because you're a jackass like that.
I wasn't going to. I was actually going to welcome you back.
Yeah, right.
Welcome back to Saul Bookman. I'm excited for tonight. I think the Suns have a very good chance to have a big game. They're not going to shoot 15.4% from three-point land. I think they're going to take this one, take it big, and come back home.
I agree. So let's talk about a little bit of the lessons we learned from Game 3. And Espo, I think you hit the nail on the head with that one. Shooting 15.4% from the three-point line is just like, what is this? Is this an NBA game? What's happening right now? And the Suns have not done that all season consistently. So as Gerald likes to say, the law of averages, they're going to knock down some of those shots. And it's not going to be as difficult of a night for the Suns if they do.
I hope so. Because I can't watch that shit again. Like, for real. Like, hey, listen, Jay Crowder and Mikal Bridges have got to start hitting perimeter shots. Like, more than anybody else in the history of the world ever. They have to start making threes. Tonight, they're going to do it in a big way. I've got Mikal Bridges having a big night tonight.
Okay.
Look, you want a stat about that three-point shooting. Our friend Vince Marotta, the PA announcer for the Phoenix Suns, tweeted out that the Suns became the first team this season to win a game in which they hit 4 or less three-pointers on 25 or more attempts. And over the last 5 years, teams are 3-53 under those circumstances. So they won in the most difficult of circumstances for this team.
Yeah.
That's why I'm feeling so good going into this one, because you're not going to do that again. I'll go out on that limb. They're not going to shoot that poorly again, which means they're likely in the driver's seat. They get a much better chance to win this one. They need that DA we saw the other night, though.
The Pelicans let that one slip away. That was the game. If you were on the other side of that, you would have said we let that one slip away because of how poorly the other team shot. But we're on the flip side of that, so fuck them.
I mean, yes, I totally get what you're saying, but from a Suns perspective, I also want to say, like, maybe the Pelicans just don't have enough to knock out this Suns team even without Devin Booker, right? They could have taken that game, but I don't know that they have enough to be able to do that multiple times and take advantage of when the Suns have a bad situation or a bad shooting night.
No, look, this Pelicans team can make this series annoying for the Suns. I don't think they can take the whole thing. And that's where tonight is of such importance, right? You can take that big lead. You can take that 3-1 lead and put yourself in the driver's seat with being able to close it out in Game 5 at home. You need to do that because you don't want this thing going to 7 just because you messed around. You need to take care of business with or without D-Book, obviously without tonight, and get it done.
Listen, it's vital for the Suns to take care of business tonight. And the reason why is because you just saw Utah and Dallas split their series now. It's a best of 3. So you know they're going to go to at least 6 games. That gives you an extra couple days of rest. And for this team and for Devin Booker, you have to take advantage of that. Same thing in the other series. You know, Minnesota has now gotten, split that series. They're tied 2-2. And then obviously the Nuggets win today. So everybody's getting extended a little bit further than everybody thought. The Suns got to take advantage and take care of business tonight.
I agree. Then you get the guys a little bit more rest. You give Devin more time to be able to come back for that second round. That would be the best case scenario for the Suns. And plus, then they come home, they win it here at home in front of their home crowd. Call it a day, move on to the next opponent.
Yeah, and I think Game 3 showed us that the Suns are in the Pelicans' heads a bit, both the fans and the players. I mean, you saw what Jackson Hayes did out there on the court when it came to Jay Crowder. You heard the crowd chanting at Chris Paul at the end of that game. The Suns have the mental edge right now against this young Pelicans team, and you don't let them off the hook at that point. You have to play Suns basketball. You have to play that hard-nosed defense. You have to go out there and play as a team tonight. If they do that, I think this could be a big Suns win because we've yet to see them hit on even 75% of what they did in the regular season so far in this series.
Especially not offensively.
No.
Like defensively, we got a little glimpse in game one, but ever since then, offensively, they've been kind of average in this entire playoff series. So, yeah, I mean, they're due. And they love playing on the road. And I guarantee you they are gassed up over what has happened last game, and especially when they got to reflect on that. I don't think Chris Paul's going to have a big game, personally. I think he'll have like a 15-15 or 15-10 kind of game. But I expect the other guys to really jump up. I'm looking at you, Campaign. You're due, right? Like somebody's got to wake him up.
Yeah, I mean, let's get into that a little bit more and talk about just kind of who we think the X factor for tonight's game is. And I'll start it off with this interesting stat that came out of the first 3 games. So far, through 3 games in this series, Jay Crowder, Campaign, Landry Shamet, and Torrey Craig combined for 1 3-point bucket.
Oof.
Deandre Ayton has 2. So DA has more 3-point buckets than all 4 of those guys have combined in this series. And that is, if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about the shooting woes of this team right now, I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, I'll give you the percentages. Deandre Ayton shooting 50% from 3 in this series. The rest of the team shooting just slightly above 28%.
Can I say this?
You can say whatever you want.
Can DA shoot more threes? I feel like he deserves it. He's not shooting a bad percentage at all.
No, as long as he's open. I don't want him forcing contested looks.
Of course.
But yeah.
I mean, because we saw it the other night. What did he do? Like one of the first possessions of the game, he pump faked and just dribbled right around Valanciunas, hit that nice little floater. If he's hitting the perimeter shot, he can do that all night long. And what are they going to do? They're going to collapse on him, gives the other guys on the perimeter. Because DA has full capability to make passes because he's a skilled big man like that. Let it happen.
Yeah, I would love to see him shoot more. I give him the green light if he's open at the top of that key to keep the Pelicans honest. You know, and also I think DA's the X factor in this game because when you look at his usage rate in the 2 wins, it's over 25% or 23% in each of those games. The game 2 loss, 9.2% usage rate. Get DeAndre Ayton involved, and good things will happen for the Suns. That's what we've learned in this series so far. It's not as if it's not something we've known. We know that, but it's showing big time in this series without Devin Booker.
So who's your X factor officially?
Oh, Mikal Bridges.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought I cleared that up earlier. Yeah. Mikal Bridges is my X factor. I think without a doubt he will have a huge game tonight. He's due. Offensively, he's due. He's due for a big game. I think he's going to have over 20 points. I think he's going to make an impact all over the court like he usually does. But offensively, I think he's going to take over. That midi is going to come back tonight.
You think he'll have the energy to have that big of an offensive impact with how hard he has to work on defense in this series against McCollum?
That's what I'm a little bit concerned about.
He works hard every night. It's no different right now. Every single night he comes to the court, he's playing the other team's best player. It's no different. C.J. McCollum's no different than Steph Curry or Klay Thompson or all the other 2 guards in the league. It's no different. Like tonight, he'll be ready.
I feel it's the other twin. Cam Johnson has the bigger game tonight and fills some of that offensive void that they're going to need. I think that's the guy I'm looking at, but it wouldn't shock me if Mikal finds a way. I worry about that energy level.
I think the person that I want to be the X factor the most tonight is Jay Crowder. I know Jay Crowder brings it defensively, and he has those little veteran tendencies and getting the edginess out of this team. And I know those are very valuable assets that he brings to the table. However, if Jay could log 12 points tonight, 13 points tonight, I think that would be a huge boost for this Suns team. And if we had 13 points from Jay the other night, that game would have been more of a blowout almost.
20 for Jay tonight. Let's go. Everybody's getting 20. The Suns are going to score 200 tonight.
At what point do you look at potentially Aaron Holiday, though, if Campaign keeps struggling so much? I feel like you might need to light a fire in Campaign by turning to Aaron Holiday at some point in this series if it trends this way. I hope it doesn't. I hope tonight's that breakthrough for Campaign, but if it isn't, I think you have to find some way to light that fire that isn't there right now.
You're getting closer. We're getting closer.
Yeah.
Aaron Holiday time is coming. If Campaign can't snap out of it in the next game or two, Aaron Holiday will have his minutes.
I'm 50-50 on this one because while, yes, Campaign does need to step it up and play the style of basketball that we know he's capable of playing and contribute in those ways, I don't think that you can trust Aaron Holiday deeper in the playoffs. I think you have to give Campaign as many minutes as you can to get himself out of this funk. So maybe if it's like a quick couple minutes here and there in this first round, that's one thing. But to really limit Campaign's minutes for Aaron Holiday, I think is going to do you a disservice down the road.
Aaron Holiday is not Elfrid Payton. I trust Aaron Holiday very, very much.
Defensively, too. Not just offensively.
But Aaron Holiday also doesn't have the know-how, doesn't have the, not the know-how, that's a bad word, doesn't have the insight on this team, and doesn't have the, he just hasn't ingested all of this team's schemes, their plays. He doesn't have the time to do that yet.
Yeah, but look, if this were a Campaign of last year and he's in a little bit of a slump, I'll give you that. But we've only seen like a week or two of that Campaign this season. This is the guy we've seen most of the year, or he's been injured. So I don't know that I have the belief as much in Campaign this year as I had last year.
But remember earlier this year when he got hurt, it took him a couple games to come back. But when he came back, he had like a big, big game. So it's like he doesn't slowly come back. It's just boom, he's on. So hopefully that happens tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not opposed to seeing a little bit of Aaron Holiday minutes, mixing it up here and there, but I do think that the further into the playoffs we go, you're going to have to limit the amount of Aaron Holiday minutes you can see just because he could, in theory, be a liability for this team simply because he hasn't been around this group long enough. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but Aaron Holiday is good, and good players need to be on the court, and like the complexity of the offensive system. I mean, it only goes so far. At some point, you need guys to make shots, and if Campaign can't make shots and he can't create for anybody else, what the fuck is the difference of him being out there creating offense, quote unquote? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Look, the Wasteland Wanderer in the chat, one of our girthlings, says, "Hot take. I think Holiday has more long-term upside potential than Campaign." I don't think it's that hot of a take.
It's not that hot of a take. I think it's pretty close.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that's a hot take. It's definitely close for the two of them. We got starters from the Phoenix Suns, and Cam Johnson will start again tonight. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Do you like having Cam in the starting unit for Game 4, or would you have switched it up from 3 to 4?
I'd rather have Landry Shamet starting, not because Campaign's a worse player than Landry Shamet. Obviously, we know how I feel about Landry Shamet. Love you, Landry. It's because I think you need a little bit more firepower off the bench, especially if Campaign can't hit shit.
Look, I don't think it matters. If you're starters and that offense doesn't build you a lead, it's not going to matter what you're having on the bench and the struggles they're having. You need to put your best foot forward in that starting lineup. Cam Johnson gives you that defensively and offensively. I'd much rather see that. And you know what? It worked in theory last game, but Cam Johnson got in that foul trouble, so his minutes were limited. But I'd rather see Cam Johnson in that starting lineup. I like where they're going with it.
I did like what Landry was able to do early on coming into Game 3. He had a lot of energy, he had some really good dunks, and just momentum behind his play. So I'm not mad at them trying the same thing here in Game 4. But I would say in Game 5, maybe if you're still struggling with more offense from the bench unit, maybe flip it around and switch it up a little bit.
But the consistency of this is
consistency
you know
is
what
huge.
I mean? Like these guys like the consistency, and so it's one thing if you know Devin Booker's going to come back, but if you flip flop Cam Johnson for Landry Shamet or vice versa, then you start to play with people's heads and their rhythms, and you don't really want to do that.
Would you say, though, that maybe that played with their heads and their rhythm as well in the first place, since all season long it's been Shamet?
I mean, yeah, I guess you could call it a mind fuck.
Maybe. Look, these guys are top-flight athletes. They've dealt with adversity all year. We've said Cam Johnson is the sixth starter with this team in a lot of ways. I don't think it matters. I really don't think it matters to these guys. The starting five that's in this game has played on the floor together even when Cam wasn't starting. These guys know each other well enough. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
So Chris in the chat said, I like Cam starting, but out quick-ish to rejoin bench role. And then Albert said, Shaman start more points off the bench with Johnson, but is it time to bench Craig?
No.
I mean, maybe if he doesn't give you much, you give Ish Wainwright a few minutes tonight and see if he's any spark. I mean, but I think it's a vast overreaction.
Yeah, not only that, but it's also because it's a direct reflection of how poorly everybody else is playing offensively too.
Yeah.
Nobody else is really creating anything besides CP3 and DA. Like, that's just the truth. So until McHale and company campaign start to hit some buckets and free some things out, Torrey Craig cannot initiate his own offense. He's a spot-up shooter. They have to find opportunities to get him the ball on the perimeter in open spots. Otherwise, he's going to continue to struggle. And he's not even shooting. It's not like he's 0 for 4 or 0 for 8. You know what I mean? Like Jay is. Like, he just isn't getting those opportunities.
Which is has to do with campaign again.
Yeah.
Because if he's not going offensively, they're not going to sag off of him, or they're going to sag off of him, watch the other shooters, and not care that much about campaign jacking a shot. So it impacts everybody. So you're right. I don't think it's that big of an issue what Torrey Craig's been doing. Jay Crowder, yes. Torrey Craig, not so much.
Yeah, it's a little bit of that trickle-down effect. But hopefully we'll see campaign turn it around here tonight, because I would love to see him kind of get back on track and contribute in ways that we know he is capable of contributing, and help the Suns get a W tonight. Saul, you brought up Deandre Ayton. Let's talk a little bit about him. I think one of the questions that we could potentially ask, I think I know my answer to this question, but I'll open it up to everybody. Which version of Deandre Ayton do you think we'll get tonight?
I'm the wrong person to ask that. I have no idea. I have no idea what motivates this guy anymore. I really don't. I hope the good DA shows up. I really do, because he's balled out last game, and I felt like he should have gotten more opportunities to ball out offensively last game, because he was on a roll. He was on a heater. But you just don't know. You really don't.
I'm kind of surprised to hear you say that,
I
to be
know.
honest with you.
I love him so much.
You're a
but,
DA stan.
you know, game 1, he had a really good game. Game 2, he fell back.
He only had 6
Everybody
shots. He
fell
only
back,
took
though.
6 shots, though.
I know, but
Yeah,
but again, until you are consistent in terms of demanding the ball and really, and listen, Booker came out midway through game 2. At one point, are you going to start to take ownership and say, Chris, give me the fucking ball so I can do something with the team?
Yeah, but at some point in that second half, I mean, they all were out of whack. Booker going out mentally threw them off. So I don't put that on Deandre Ayton. What I do is I look at, Allen said the other night, if he were Willie Green, he'd go with the same defense they did the other night and say, prove it to DA, basically. Not worry about double teams. DA just needs to go out with the same mentality he had in Game 3, and I think he will. I think this is where we see back-to-back good games.
And you're confident in that consistency?
Yes.
You are?
I am.
Okay.
Because I think Monty looks at that and understands, let's get him going early, because that's our best path to victory here.
It is.
Because the rest of your offense, you can't trust him. But when you get DA the ball and you have him at a high usage rate, you win, and Deandre Ayton comes through. If you don't, you lose. It's that simple, and I think Monty Williams knows that. They'll get him going early.
I hope they do.
Well, in pregame, Monty talked about how DeAndre is such a selfless player, right? Like, depending on what teams are throwing at them or what Monty calls up play designs for DA or not for DA, he's selfless and he will do whatever it takes for the team. When he was asked about that kind of discrepancy of 6 shots to however many he had in Game 3, I don't remember off the top of my head,
20.
but it was like 3 times more at least, yeah. So I think a lot of it falls on Monty's shoulders and just kind of what he kind of teased DA up to have that type of a game. So we'll see, but I think we're going to get a good DA performance. I think having Devin Booker on the sideline, which this is a huge part of Devin traveling with the team still, is in Game 3. Afterwards, DA was saying the entire night, Devin was in my ear, shoot the ball. Keep shooting the ball. Don't stop shooting the ball. Over and over and over all night, encouraging him to take more shots and to be aggressive. and it paid dividends for this team. Deandre Ayton is the only reason the Suns were in this game through the first 3 quarters.
Why do these guys need somebody in their ear saying shoot the ball? We heard Chris Paul say the same thing, that, game 1, Jamal Crawford ran into him at halftime and said, shoot the ball. We heard from Gerald, I don't remember who it was, said it to him in game 3 going into the 4th. Why do these guys need to be told it? Shoot the damn ball if you're DeAndre Ayton and you're Chris Paul, because you're the 2 best guys on the team right now.
I think it's twofold. If in my opinion, it's twofold. One, they're a selfless team overall. They're going to look for their teammates to get theirs before they look to get their own, right? And then the second side of it is, yes, you're a professional athlete. You don't need to have any sort of motivation, but who doesn't love words of encouragement, words of affirmation, right? If I'm your teammate and I know that if I say something out loud to you, it gives you a little oomph, you puff your chest up a little bit, I'm going to do it.
Situationally is more what I'm concerned about. I don't give a shit if somebody tells me at halftime, shoot the ball. If in the 4th quarter, when my team needs me the most, I'm passive. Like, that's when I need to just know. Like, nobody needs to tell me to shoot the ball. Nobody had to tell Kobe to shoot the ball in the 4th quarter. Nobody has to tell Devin to shoot the ball in the 4th quarter. Like, with DA and CP3, nobody has to tell CP3 shoot the ball more. Like, you just got to do it when their team needs it the most. That's what we're talking about right here, as opposed to just, just going through the motions during the rest of the game.
Look, selflessness is great in the regular season. It's great to get everybody involved, but there's a reason rotations shrink in the playoffs. There's a reason why stars shine. It's time to make your money. If you're DA, to get that contract. If you're Chris Paul, keep earning that contract the way you've been playing in the field.
All right, we had a question in the chat that said, what's the over-under on Hayes getting another double tech tonight? What are you guys' thoughts?
It's under. He's not getting a double tech tonight.
Yeah, I would hope he's smarter than doing something as dumb as he did the other night in that knowing.
I'm kind of surprised he didn't get suspended for that.
I mean, when you go back and look at that replay, it's completely vicious. There's no basketball anything involved in that. That was a guy who was pissed off that Landry Shamet dunked on him, and I'm sure Jay was in his ear, and he just basically assaulted Jay Crowder on that play. I don't think he will get caught in that same kind of situation, because I don't think Willie Green is going to let him be in that situation.
I agree. I don't think it's going to be the same type of situation. However, I would not be surprised if Jay was able to get him frustrated again tonight. Maybe not to the level he was in game 3, but enough to throw him off of his game a little bit.
Oh, I don't think he'll be on his game. I think the Suns are in his head. I just don't think he'll get to the point where he gets 2 T's and gets tossed because of it.
Right. Okay.
Fabio in the chat actually should have been in jail. Chill, buddy. Chill. Have you seen the 80s and 90s basketball games? Like, no, come on.
Yeah, but it's the 2000s, Saul. You got to get with the times.
It's the
you know
2020s.
It's actually the 2020s.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's
You
what I
got to
meant.
get with the times, Lindsay. It's
Look
called
at
a
me go.
calendar, all right?
2020s, that's what I meant. Did you guys see on social media that Pelicans fans are calling for Devin to be suspended because he tapped CJ McCollum on the shoulder after a play?
Yeah, I saw. Who cares?
He what?
Okay, so the play was over. CJ was going to shoot a 3, just messing around. Devin was right there, and he tapped McCollum
'Cause he was
on
like,
the back. He
the
was
corner.
on the side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Pelicans
Fine.
fans clamoring for any hope that they can win this series. Go away, you losers.
Look, you know what'll happen if they suspend him, right? Devin will just say, I'm back for game 6, even though he's not ready to be back if there's a game 6.
Yeah.
He'll sit out, and you're screwed anyways because he'll be back if there's a game 7. There's no win here. Just stop crying.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of hilarious. I mean, it was a dead ball. CJ and Devin have a good relationship. CJ may not have loved it in the moment, of course, but there was no, ill will there, I don't believe, for Book at all. So that was just a little bit of an extreme. But speaks to the fact of what you said, Espo. The Suns are in the Pelicans fan base's head just as much as they are the teams.
Yeah, I mean, big time. You heard those chants at CP3. You hear this now that they're crying. Suns, the Suns team is in the Pelicans fans' heads. We'll see if they're still in the players' heads tonight and how composed the Pelicans are, because this is a young team. It's an inexperienced team when it comes to the playoffs. This is where you could see them completely fall apart if they're not careful.
All right, gentlemen, let's take a look at what our friends over at the DraftKings Sportsbook app think about tonight's game. Espo, break this one down.
Yeah, they have the Suns as a 2-point favorite, and I think this is what we call disrespect.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, for me, I think this is a Suns win tonight by more than 2. I'm not going to go blowout. I don't want to jinx anything. I just think more than 2.
Wasn't it 2.5 on Friday?
It was, I believe, yes.
So it came down after they won? Do they think just because, like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Suns are notoriously a great road team. They travel really well. They won already in New Orleans on Friday.
I kind of get it because the Suns have not been good very, very good offensively for 3 straight games. They've been okay. Chris Paul's given them flashes here and there. Devin Booker's had flashes, in game 2 in the first half. But the rest of the team, it has been just okay. DA had a big game last game, obviously, but they need a complete team victory. That's what this team is built on, is the entire team concept. And they haven't really shown that in these playoffs yet. I hope it happens tonight.
Tonight's the night. The floodgates are breaking open.
I think
so.
Say. All right, what gambles are we making tonight? What are we putting our money on?
I'm gambling that all the Pelicans fans are going to get back on their swamp boats and go find some more gators out there is what I'm gambling on.
That's for real? That's your pick?
What are the odds on that one?
Yeah, what are the odds?
Plus, minus 500 is what the odds are because it's going to happen. I actually have Bridges to have 20-plus points and 6-plus rebounds tonight at plus 550 on the DraftKings Sportsbook app.
I'm going with the sweet baby angel Cam Johnson hitting that first shot at plus 850 tonight.
I like where your head's at, Espo, but I'm going Jay Crowder with that first shot of the game.
Aren't you always on Crowder's Cash Club?
No, I think I've mixed it up
every
every
once in a while.
once in a while.
Are you actually doing this? Are you putting it on the app? I got to see this happen.
Are you?
Yeah, I put $5 on it. I always do that when I make my bets.
Well, no, I'm not. But I would like to think that Jay comes out of the gates, knocks one down early, hopefully the first one, and then that momentum starts the rest of the game for him. He gets his first one goes in, and he's feeling good for the rest of the game.
They need it. Look, they need it. Saul did actually make the bet.
Yeah,
there's a lot of red. There's a lot of red on that DraftKings app.
I've lost a lot of money on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. I have.
So that's I guess the gamble you will take if you take Saul's advice on what to bet on over on the DraftKings Sportsbook app.
Mikhail's going to definitely have 19-5 instead of 20-6.
Right? That's how it goes. Oh my gosh!
As long as they get the win, I don't care about your bet.
Yeah, sorry about your $5, but if they win, that's all that matters. All right, gentlemen, any final thoughts before we say goodbye and go watch this game?
Look, the Suns will shoot well above 15.4% from the three-point line tonight. I feel confident in saying that, and I think we see DA come out with the kind of energy that he did in Game 3. I don't know that he'll put up the same kind of numbers. I don't know that he'll have 17 boards, but I do know that he'll come out with the same kind of energy and be a factor in tonight's game.
I think we're due for a Suns blowout win.
I agree.
Yeah, I feel like we're due for that, so hopefully the Suns will do it tonight. I feel pretty good that they will, but you just never know.
I'd like to see a close one tonight in the blowout at home to reward the fans, but I'll take the blowout tonight if it happens.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in to our pregame show. We will be right back here as soon as the game wraps up. So plan to come join us. In the meantime, you can hang out with us on Twitter at PHNX_Suns, or if you are a Go PHNX member, you can hang out with us in the members only Discord.
Or if you're in downtown Phoenix, come out to the Ainsworth, hang out with us in person. We'll scream and shout along with you tonight.
Very true. Come join us for the watch party. We'll be here every road game of the playoffs. So we'll see you guys shortly. Bye.
Known to shine greater, glide like Tom Chambers in Bulls versus Lakers. Off that pick, I'm Devin Booker. Bringing the hot take straight out the pressure cooker. Highlight plays, stand up guys, taking the shot. When the game is on the line, I'm always on time. Power